Hi, almost everyone is watching my channel without a subscription. Please support me and subscribe. I release videos every day for you. Story 1. Husband demands wife on maternity leave 5 weeks after giving birth. Have dinner ready when he gets home from work. I, F23, have been married to my husband John, M24, for a year now. And recently, aka 5 weeks ago, we welcomed our first baby, F. I'm currently on maternity leave, which my husband has interpreted it as me being a stay-at-home mom instead of taking time to rest before I needed to return to work. I don't really mind it too much, since cleaning my house is soothing for me and a good distraction from my sleep deprivation, lol. I've always been this way, and John does still do his share of household chores. He does most of the outdoor work and he'll sweep/vacuum. But recently, he's been writing me about not having dinner ready when he gets home. He works from 8-5:30, so it's not a completely unreasonable time for dinner, but it's not like I can just stop taking care of our daughter to cook him a meal. I can usually talk him down, and he'll watch daughter while I cook. A few days ago, however, he came into the house and began berating me for not having dinner ready and waiting, so he could just walk in and sit to eat. I was actively changing my daughter's diaper while he went on this rant. He went as far as to say that he put up with my laziness for long enough, and that I needed to do my job properly. I didn't say anything to him at that moment. I went and cooked dinner, and he seemed pretty proud of himself for winning the conversation. But I only have a few more weeks to stay home with my baby girl, and I'm not going to have that stomped on because of my husband. So ever since that day, I go to my mom's house for dinner. She's totally okay with this too. I don't cook anything for John, and I'm already at my mom's by the time he gets home. I still clean at home and keep the house tidy, but I don't cook dinner. John has been furious with me, and has been telling me that I'm an off for leaving him to starve. I just want to have a peaceful environment before I have to go back to work, so Reddit, am I the owl? Relevant comments from OOP. He does know that he can't really trap me. I have the higher income and higher savings, plus a sister on the opposite side of the country. I do not want it to reach that point, but if it does, he knows all those things, and he has never spoken to me like this before. Ever. We met when I was 13, and he was about to turn 14. I have talked with him. I told him that I'm doing my best with daughter and cleaning the house, and sometimes I can't just start making dinner. He seemed understanding when we talked, even said he would make sure to help me out. Update. John and I sat down together this evening, and the first thing he said was that he was sorry. He said that he was sorry for the way he had been talking to me and that he understood why I did what I did. He also told me he saw my Reddit post. Oops. He informed me that there was a rumor spreading around his workplace that they were planning on laying off a lot of people, and he freaked out. He didn't want to end up unemployed because he wanted me to be able to have my full maternity leave, and also didn't want to force us to dip into our savings accounts. So he was working through his lunch and was coming home without having eaten anything since 7 a.m. that morning. Cause of the insane crankiness, and unfortunately, the rumors were true, and he ended up being laid off. So he's unemployed, which means he didn't actually go to work today. He went to his sister's house, and yes, I called her and confirmed that he was actually there all day. He told me that what was going on wasn't an excuse, and that his behavior towards me was unacceptable. Though I did reach out to my MIL+IL, and they gave him an earful this morning. Sile did the same. He admitted that he was jealous he couldn't spend the same kind of time with daughter, and that his jealousy was coming out in those ways. He is absolutely enamored with daughter, and wants to be more present to bond while she's still a newborn. I told him that I needed him to see a therapist. I needed him to talk to a professional about how he's been feeling, and I will do the same. We're currently looking for one, maybe a different one for me, covered under my insurance from work. I told him that until he has had a couple sessions, I'm going to be staying in my parents' home. It's not necessarily a matter of distrust, but I believe he needs to talk to someone and be in charge of himself for a little bit. I told him that I have no intention of keeping daughter from him, but I believed it was best to remove myself from our home for a little while. He agreed to all of these things, and my wonderful parents/ILs told us they'll help handle our bills until I'm back to work. So that's where we are. John is going to try being a SSHE when I go back to work and has already enrolled in some online classes at a local community college. MIL sent him some of their family recipes as well, so John is going to be handling dinner from here on out so he can get better at cooking. I understand that many of the people in the comments were telling me to divorce him or leave, but I don't think I'm ready to give up on our marriage just yet. I have a lot of people in my corner, including my in-laws. Daughter and I will be okay. If this behavior starts up again, I won't stick around and hope it'll turn out like this again. I'll go stay with younger sister. She's in state. I was recommended against leaving the state with daughter in the case of desire for divorce until I can get a lawyer. If there are any other big changes, I'll update you all again. But for now, thank you and goodbye. Do not forget to subscribe and leave comments. Videos are released every day. Edit. Clarifying some things. John did not suggest being ASAHD. The plan he proposed was to pay my mom and dad to take care of daughter when I went back to work, and he would look for office jobs in the meantime. I did. I wanted him to do it. I'm not taking daughter away from him. I pump. I'm going to take some of the advice I was given and give myself time to rest instead of cleaning house. Daughter will be with him too. John was in fact laid off. I understand that what he did in my original post was terrible, but I do not believe it warrants people saying he quit. He was jealous of my bonding time, but he also would not leave a job because of that. John is overdue for a physical, so he's called his doctor and he'll have a checkup next Thursday. John went to his sister's because he was embarrassed. If I was laid off after working my ass off for a month, I'd be humiliated too. I wouldn't know how to tell my spouse something like that. Divorce is not on the table. Divorce is not in the house. I'm taking time to heal while staying in a quiet place. Parents going to be on vacation. I'm not divorcing my husband. I don't want to be a single mom. As soon as daughter is reaching the age that we're comfortable with her being in daycare, John will be looking for jobs. He doesn't have a choice. He agreed to that. If he drags his feet, I'll start looking for him. Update. Another update. This one is not good. Forgive me for any errors. I'm shaking as I type this out. I was heading over to our house to drop daughter off with my husband, and I was a tad bit concerned because he didn't give me a responsive acknowledgement like he had the previous days. I thought that he might have fallen asleep. It didn't matter, since I had a key. When out there, John was just sitting on the couch, and it took a tiny bit of coaxing to get him to tell me that he couldn't really move his left arm/leg. I started to freak out because I thought he was having a stroke, but he calmed me down and asked me to drive him to the hospital, just in case. I'll spare you all the details of waiting in the ER with the fussy daughter, but as it turns out, John has a tumor in his frontal lobe. Yeah, the doctor said it would account for the weakness and for any changes in personality that might have been present. We don't know if it's cancerous just yet, since they haven't done a biopsy or anything, but I thought I'd let you guys know. John said go ahead. So that's where we are now. I'm terrified, calling my parents and my in-laws. My parents are about to go on their vacation, flying out tonight, and I encourage them to still do so, because there's still testing to be done. My in-laws will help me with daughter, watch her so I can have a little bit of alone time with John, and then I'll go home, and they'll go to the hospital to be with him. Hopefully this will slow, preferably stop, the onslaught of comments/DMs telling me to divorce him. I love John with my whole being and he needs me. My in-laws are reaching out to their relatives to see if this is genetic or simply bad luck. John keeps apologizing to me, and I've been trying to get him to stop. He has a brain tumor. He couldn't control what he was saying. It's also terrifying, and I don't know what to do anymore. Thanks for all your precious advice, and if anyone has any suggestions of how I can keep myself composed during this, I'd love to hear it. Update. It seems that I have forgotten about this account. My husband is fine. The tumor was benign. He had a surgery to remove it. The doctor said he has likely had it for a few years, and apparently he had some people in his family who had brain tumors too. He had some physical therapy after the surgery, as well as some regular therapy. I did too. He's been helping my dad with his business. My dad embroiders for a living. He's teaching John how to do it to help occupy him. Daughter's doing well, happy, and healthy. John has been spending more time with her. Some people sent me DMs saying to be weary that the tumor was what led to John marrying me in the first place. And well, you weren't entirely wrong. John admitted to me that he no longer felt romantic love for me. It was in couples therapy. He said that he still loved me because I was the mother of his child, but it wasn't the same he was just a few months ago. It hurt, to say the least, but I was happy he was being honest. So we've amicably filed for divorce. It will be an uncontested one. I don't want either of us to be stuck in a resentful marriage, but we're going to continue living together for the time being. Daughter is still so young, and John and I think that we'll mutually benefit from staying close. This is the John mentioned in these posts. My wife, Emma, and I are posting these together. I'm fine. Brain tumor handled. It was a really strange feeling. I had gone from loving Emma with everything inside of me to only feeling a base level of love for her. I want to be around her. I want to be friends with her. I want to raise daughter with her, but it doesn't feel the same. I feel really guilty about it, But Emma has reassured me that the way I'm feeling can't be ignored or pushed away for her sake. So like she said, we're getting an uncontested divorce. I don't have experience with lawyers or anything, but I don't think it will be a hard divorce. If I'm wrong, just tell me. Do not forget to subscribe and leave comments. Videos are released every day. Story 2. Ope's best friend demands expensive wedding gifts. I, 23F, have known my best friend, 24F, let's call her Maria, since we were babies. We've been inseparable our whole lives, and she is like a sister to me. We both grew up in a poor area and our families struggle a lot with money. We are both in our final year of college now and I don't have a lot of money to spare. I have lots of student debt and I work 2 jobs to have enough money for food and rent, etc. We both go to a very prestigious college, so we have worked very hard to get to where we are. Around 6 months ago, Maria met a guy at the shop she works at, called Mike, 33M. They started dating pretty quickly, and Mike is very rich. He is the definition of living off daddy's money. At first I was a little bit skeptical as obviously Mike is quite a bit older than her, but she seemed happy. After a month of them dating, Maria had changed a lot. She was missing lectures and tests to go on last-minute holidays to Dubai, Paris, New York, etc., and always coming back with designer accessories. After 3 months, she moved in with Mike, which upset me as I had to sell our shared apartment because I could not afford rent by myself. I thought they were moving very quickly, but I didn't want to seem jealous or petty by bringing it up. Around a month ago, Mike proposed to Maria, and she accepted. I was happy for her, but after she told me her plans, I was shocked. Maria's dream since we were kids was to work for NASA, and she has worked so hard for this. She has taken internships there and was planning to apply there for next year. But her new plan is to get married, graduate college, and move to LA with Mike and become a housewife. The wedding is planned for this December, and it is the most lavish, expensive wedding that you could think of. Her bridal shower is next week, and she has asked me to be her maid of honor. While I don't approve of her plans, of course I said yes. She's inviting me and some of her new rich friends she's met through Mike to the shower, and she made a group chat with all of us in. She sent us a list of the presents she wanted, which took me by surprise, because this list included designer items and luxury furniture that I could definitely not afford. The cheapest was $550. I had planned to get her something sentimental and personal, not designer brands. While all the bridesmaids were discussing in the chat what they would buy for her, I messaged her privately and apologized that I wouldn't be able to buy anything. She completely went off at me, saying that my financial issues shouldn't get in the way of her wedding. I got pretty upset as this isn't the Maria I've known my whole life, and she is well aware of my issues with money. I told her that if this is the way she's acting, I wouldn't buy her anything at all. She's removed me from the wedding party chat, and I've had several angry messages from Mike and the bridesmaids telling me what a horrible friend I am. I'm feeling very conflicted about whether I'm in the wrong. AITA. Update. Thank you everyone for your comments. It has been 3 weeks since I dropped out of the wedding party, and I am still getting calls from Mike and the bridesmaids. I spoke to a couple friends and asked for advice, and like a lot of comments said they advised just to be there for Maria and try to reach out if possible. I messaged her last week asking to meet for a coffee, and after being left on red for a few days, she agreed. I spoke to her explaining my concerns about the marriage and why I decided to drop out of the wedding party. She stayed silent through all of it, and when I finished, she broke down in tears, so badly she couldn't speak. I took her back to my place, and once she calmed down, she explained what was really happening. Like I said, Mike lives off his parents' fortune. Turns out his parents had a deal. He could only continue using their money as long as he got married by 35. As he was quickly reaching this deadline, he found a young, pretty girlfriend and rushed into marriage so he could continue his luxury lifestyle. Maria found this out at family dinner back in July. Maria tried to confront him, but he threatened her with taking all her money, leaving her jobless and without a place to live. Mike's parents also have a prenuptial in the works, and Maria confessed she has been stalling it as long as she can. She also explained to me that the bridesmaids/new friends had been picked by Mike as daughters of his father's friends, and they all made fun of Maria for being previously poor. Because of this, she felt like she had to change, hence the dramatic personality change and expensive registry. It all went down after I dropped out of the party. Maria caught Mike cheating with an even younger girl. She found messages of them sexting and evidence of her coming to their house. She confronted him, and he denied everything, deleted all evidence, and tried to gaslight her into thinking she made it up. She was sleeping in the spare room until we met up, and right now she's staying on the couch in my apartment. Last night she officially called off the engagement, and both me and her have been receiving hateful messages all night. We're making a plan at the moment to help her cut ties with Mike, get back on track with college, and find a job again. I'm still mad at her for what she did to me, and it will take a very long time for our friendship to get back on track, but I am trying my best to support her. Again, thank you everyone for your comments and feedback. I really appreciate it. While she still has a long way to go, I am happy to see that the person I knew and loved is slowly coming back. Do not forget to subscribe and leave comments. Videos are released every day.